What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Switch Life Garage. Today I'm going to be working on my car finally with the modification. I know some of you guys probably get bored of me just fixing stuff that don't work on my car, but today finally have a modification. Not really much, but I feel like there's quite a bit to talk about because this is kind of like a, I guess, controversial topic. Alright, so now the part I'm going to be working on today is on my intake. Now, I don't really consider it a modification because I feel like modifications should take more work than just unscrewing and just placing right back on. But anyways, so the reason why I want to talk about it for a little bit is because I feel like a lot of people buy an intake off of eBay or wherever they buy it from and think they're going to instantly get more power. Now, a lot of people, it just kind of plays in their head because they put on that shiny intake. It has a shiny chrome tubing, whatever it may be. It's blue or whatever, and it makes a whooshing sound. So in their minds, they're making more power, which a lot of times they're not making any more power. Now, before buying an intake, you should always do your research and see what actually makes more power on the dyno. Now, if you're looking just for the whooshing sound and to achieve a little bit more power, you could just go ahead and take off your resonator box, which is behind your front bumper, and that takes $0. Now, when buying an intake, there's certain things that makes the intake good, and there's cold air intake and a short ram intake. And now I never really believe in short ram intakes because they do suck up hot air that is in the engine bay, but sometimes they do make more power. Sometimes you sacrifice a little bit low end or high end depending on your intake. And another thing that could also affect your intake is the piping and the design of it. But as always, you should always do research on the intake you plan on getting and see what actually is making you more power on the dyno. But as far as the Prelude is concerned, as far as I know, there's only two intakes that actually make more power than your stock intake, and that is the AEM V2 intake, which is I guess you consider it a short ram intake because it is the filter is in the engine bay, and the JDM Type S intake is actually what I'm going to be installing today. But again, if you want to quickly get a little bit more horsepower and get the sweet whooshing sounds, you could just go ahead and take off your intake resonator box. And a lot of times you could go ahead and take off that resonator box, and if you want to spend a little bit of money, it's not even that much, you could go ahead and buy a K&N air filter, and that would most likely, on most cars, it will increase your horsepower by a tiny bit. You're not expecting a lot, but for the money, you're getting quite a bit of horsepower. Alright, so what we have here is obviously my car right here with the stock intake piping. I did already take the resonator box out, and there is a video on that, so if you want to go ahead and look for that video, I do have it on my channel. Let's check out the JDM Type S one. Alright, so what we have here is a K&N air filter, and got the JDM Type S intake. Now, what makes this intake better is that it is engineered, and that is why it has this bigger chamber here. I'm not sure exactly with the specifics, but this is one of the intakes that you would get if you are looking for one. Again, you could go ahead and get the AEM V2 intake, or you could get the JDM Type S one. Now these, for me, it took a little bit of searching and a few weeks of searching until I finally found one that was for sale. And I also do have the V2 intake, which is for my 4th gen Prelude. But anyways, let me go ahead and take off this intake, and then we'll get to installing the Type S intake. Alright, so here's the old paper filter. Gonna go ahead and get rid of that. Looks a bit dirty. not too bad, but anyways, this is trash. Alright, look at the difference here from the stock intake on the right and the Type S intake on the left. The difference is going to be in the tubing, and there is difference right here from how big it is, the neck, and then this one, it just has like the same diameter all the way through. But it does shrink down to the same size here at the neck where it connects to the throttle body. As you can see, it is wide open all the way through. See the inside where it shrinks back down. Alright, so the filter I am going to be using is the K&N high flow air filter. And let me see if here's the part number 33-2090. Now these filters, after you buy one, you won't need to buy another. It does come pre-oiled already, so you don't have to go ahead and buy the recharging kit. So you could go ahead and just put this one on, and once it is time to clean it, you will go ahead and buy the recharging kit. But as for right now, I would not need it. And my understanding, these are made out of cotton and not paper, so that is one of the biggest differences, and it lets air flow more freely rather than the paper ones. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on. Alright, so there is the intake. Now, as I mentioned before, I don't really consider this a modification, really, because it's just kind of just remove and install, so it's pretty simple, you know. But I guess it's qualifies as a modification. But yeah, super simple. And I have always wanted this intake, but they are pretty pricey if you could find them. If you do find it, you might get lucky, and who knows how much you'll find it for. But I would probably say about average price would probably be about $350. Now for the AEM V2, brand new, it is also around, I believe, $350, $360 shipped. So, you know, it's pretty comparable getting both. And I do believe the AEM V2 may produce like 1 extra horsepower over the Type S, but as I mentioned, I do have the AEM V2 already for my 4th gen Prelude, so I just went ahead and got this one because why not? You know, I don't want to have 2 of the same intakes. Alright, I had reinstalled the battery holder, and because I had moved the battery so I wouldn't scratch the intake when installing it, and it just makes it a whole lot easier. I would hate to scratch it. Anyways, let me go ahead and give it a quick startup. Now, I don't know how clear it is on the camera, but I definitely can hear a difference in the intake. Well, alright guys, hopefully you guys liked this video, and yeah, that's all I really had to do to my car to change out the intake. That's, like I said, I don't really consider it a modification, but it is a change to my car. And I'm excited to go ahead and test drive it, because I know it is going to give me a few more horsepower, but at the end of the day, if you really want to achieve the max horsepower with modifications, you're going to go ahead and have to dyno tune it and get everything set in And just adding parts to your car without tuning it is not making it reach its max potential. So if you add any changes to your engine, it should always be tuned for it to reach max potential. But I mean, for this intake, I'm not going to tune it just because I added the intake. There's just no way I could justify the expense of tuning it just for an intake. So for now, I'm just going to leave it as is and just drive it how it is. And it's not like I'm going to be running like super lean because I added on this intake. More modifications would have to be added in order for me to be worried about running too rich or lean. But alright guys, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you guys like this video and you guys want to see more videos of me working on my car and other projects, go ahead and hit the subscribe button because I am going to have more videos on the way. Alright guys, thank you for watching my channel, Swish Life Garage, and I'll see you guys on the next video.